I'm alive. How are you?
I'm all right. Tired today for some reason, but here, alive, living it, living the dream.
I tapped out yesterday for the most part. You ever have days where you're just physically and mentally exhausted, but you can't really diagnose why?
Yeah, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. I mean, I was able to squeeze in an hour of bug fixes later on today, and also hit my abdominals on the beach in regards to like exercise, but I was just drained.
Yeah, no, I went back to work after vacation for the first time yesterday. Ugh, that was tough.
How did that make you feel?
Just drained. I don't know. You'd hope after you get back from a vacation, like you're like, oh, excited to get back into it. You're kind of refreshed. It's like no, it's like
Nah.
every meeting I'm like, not this again. You're like, this again, whatever. So, but yeah. So you've been working on
So
the
I got
core beast here.
so I got everything pretty much working as in like the backend services are like now deployed, and I just run a Pulumi script and things in general just work. So I no longer have to have all these backend services running locally on my desktop anymore when I'm testing this application.
Hmm.
So that's a milestone that I finally got to check off this week. And the next thing that I need to do is, as I was learning Azure Service Bus, uh, I wasn't aware of configuration constraints. So, for example, apparently I can't have more than 100 topics,
Mm.
Azure Service Bus topics published, meaning that I spin up a topic so that some client can subscribe to it. Spin up another topic, another
Yeah.
or that same client could subscribe to it, and those topics could be order requested, uh, order canceled by customer, order canceled by courier, whatever status updates I had made into its own individual topic. And there could be like 30 something topics spun up each time an order gets placed, which in theory results in like around three topics, or around three orders being created before, if I did the order without the other three orders being fulfilled or canceled, I run out of topics based on the basic plan that I have with Azure.
Mm.
Are you following me so far?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. So are you dumping it then, or are you replacing it? I'm
Uh,
losing you here.
my my how I'm using Azure Service Bus, or I got to reconfigure it. So instead of spinning up a topic for, or instead of spinning up, yeah, a topic for each type of status update, order placed, courier found, no couriers found, order arrived at carrier location, uh, courier arrived at customer location. Like all these are status updates that are mapped to their own individual topics.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got to redesign my message bus system where the topic is maybe customer order number, courier order number, maybe, or maybe it could just be order number. And then on the labels of those topics, embed the status update message.
Don't you
That's the
still
thought process.
don't you still run
So
out
instead
of
of
topics after a while? I think our connection's delayed here.
yeah, I'm scared to test my. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's because I was spinning up two emulators at the same time and it's memory related, or if it's bandwidth related.
It'd probably be
It would
banned.
probably be
Well,
bandwidth, right?
yeah, I would, because otherwise video is just I/O. It's not gonna. You're not using a lot of I/O with this, but
I hear you now.
hmm.
I'm still coming in garbled.
You're good at the moment. We'll see you in a second. So, but once you still run out of topics after a while, though, with that scheme.
Uh, the short answer is yeah. I would instead of running out of topics after three orders that are concurrent, um, I will run out of topics maybe after 50 orders that are concurrent,
Yeah, which is still a pretty
which
bad limitation.
it's a pretty bad limitation, but then I could focus on other things such as upgrading my plan. If I'm doing 50 current 50 50 orders concurrently, then in theory I'm making money, right? If the yeah, if I have 50 orders or 50 transactions that are pending and it takes in theory maybe half an hour to fulfill a transaction, then I think that's I'm doing something good. Money is coming in, and then I can upgrade my plan so that the constraint or the limit is not 100 topics.
But upgrading costs more.
Yeah,
So you'd be carving out your or carving into uh, your profits then. Have you thought about? I mean, have you thought about just replacing that system and not using Azure Service Bus?
no, that's not an option right now. I'm trying to get to market. I could think about that stuff
Yeah, I
after I
suppose.
scale. How come you're not a fan of Azure Service Bus?
No, I
Or
am.
what do you have in mind?
I think that there's probably better ways to do it. I actually do think that an actor model system would be a good fit
Orleans,
for this. Orleans or
Akka.
Akka or Elixir or something. Give yourself some Elixir time. But I guess the push part of it might be a little trickier, but because you'd either have to set up a polling mechanism or set up something like a WebSocket connection, persistent WebSocket connection to something with SignalR. But
Yeah, Signal R is already you know Azure Signal R is already being used in this, right?
oh yeah, I mean if you're able to pipe everything through to Azure to SignalR to the app so that you have a single channel.
Right now it's being used to relay GPS coordinates back and forth between the two client applications.
Yeah, I mean messages aren't anything different than that. So assuming that those status updates are just status updates between carrier and whatever, um, or you can just use a single topic for all things. But I think you said these apps are receiving messages directly from the service bus, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I mean this is a huge milestone. I gotta do something about this cosmetic button not or being truncated. Uh, go up. And then delivered, uh, done, done, great. Uh-oh. Yeah, so that's it. The next step is to make some updates so I could do more than 3 orders concurrently so that my clients don't barf. And I'll try to have that done. I'll try to have that done by next Friday. In theory, it should really just take 2 or 3 business days. That's my guess, but we'll
Gotcha.
see.
How was your
Uh,
interview with the F sharp guy? I haven't watched it yet.
oh man, that's the highest performing video that we have on Tech Conception. I think we're at give me 1 second. I have too many YouTube channels.
Yeah, I mean I haven't watched it yet, but what was there anything really interesting or caught you off guard or?
Ooh, we're approaching 100 subscribers. It's what do you think about the Bud Light boycott?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's kind of interesting. I don't really
Yeah.
care about it, but
So look at these numbers. All right, this is my. You still see my screen, right?
yeah,
All right. So look at this. It's 70 views, 80 views, 65 views, 331 views, and that was what we did on the most impactful languages for 2023. Right. So 331 did okay, especially for our fourth episode. Then 102, 26 views, 45, 37. Right. And then when we had Jamie Edwards on, that hit 527 views for that video. 301, 131, and now 158, 105, 41. Right. So it's kind of like hit or miss. 114, and then with Don Syme, we have, as of today, 1,330 views
yeah, one more than Leet.
and 39 likes.
Yeah,
Right?
the it seems like, well, obviously you're gonna get a bump from anything when you have somebody on, because you get some of their audience, assuming that they thank you or put something on their
Yeah, I don't think Ted
deal. But
Newart marketed us. I don't
yeah,
think.
but the other than that, is it kind of more of the business startup focused ones that aren't doing as well as the more development heavy ones?
Oh, so yeah, to your point, when we did, where is it at?
Engineering a business mindset. Like, why is that one such a low performer? Is it keywords? Is it something else?
It was our. I think what you were saying earlier, people made Google, languages to learn in 2023, and so your Google search engine, not your Google, your YouTube search engine probably translates it or know how to translate it to uh, our content for 3 most impactful languages, and maybe that's just a common search term, and maybe that one did reasonable,
Mm-hmm.
right, in regards to what mainstream cares about.
Hmm.
Uh, Engineering a business mindset did the absolute worst. But if we examine this, we don't have any hashtags on here within the description to help the algorithm. So for example, when I say hashtags, um,
Yeah.
can I say career growth? Can I say career Now say tech startup. I mean, there's not a lot of data to extract from this description for the algorithm, and maybe that's one of the reasons why it performed so poorly.
Yeah.
For example, we didn't help the algorithm by specifying the different parts of the video, so that maybe that could also contribute to the search engine. But that I'm sure that the lack of a description in here is a factor.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, the business of F Sharp is doing really well, and it just keeps showing up in people's feeds. So
You're gonna do more of those language creator ones?
yeah, I have John A. DeGos. Does that name sound familiar? We're supposed to be
It
interviewing
does.
him next
Yeah.
Friday. He's a Scala thought
Scala
leader.
guy. And
Yeah.
then you're gonna get the guy who created Elixir on just for me, right? So, no. I'm still
Uh,
interested in that language,
J-
even though I haven't
Jose,
really.
what's his
Jose
name?
Valim.
Valine. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Jose Valim. I haven't
I don't
really
really hear that much
spent any
about
time.
Elixir anymore.
They must have had a conference or something in the last like a few months because I saw a bunch of chatter on it for a day or two. But I'm still interested in that language. I haven't spent any time with it. Obviously, it's hard to get any sort of motivation to do anything now. You're kind of like just I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty tapped out on programming languages. Gambler
Yeah.
says, "Happy Mastermind anniversary, 200th episode. Stay
Oh,
tuned for giveaway raffle at the end." So Gambler, thank you. I'm almost positive you would be the de facto winner of any raffle because you're the only person that consistently views our brain dumps. So
it'll be like it'll be like we if we did something like that, it would be like Gambler lost because there's like one other person in the comments or something like that. We roll a dice and he loses. That happened with when I was in college. My wife won an Xbox 360, and me and my this other guy, but Microsoft did this thing where they tried this thing with Facebook engagement, and basically, if you commented on things, you got so many points. If you did surveys, you got so many points, and then if you had friends in there, they would get points based on the work that you did. So my wife did like the survey, and that's it. But me and this other guy, Nick, we spent like who she was both friends with. We like commented on everything, and we did like we were on a leaderboard, and we were like the second and third person on the leaderboard. The first person was like way up there. Well, anyways, the day came when they did the drawing, and my wife won it, and
oh
people
wow.
just flipped out because she only did the survey, and it's like, well, but she also had a ton of entries because of what me and my friend did. So she had just as much. She had just a ton of entries, but people were just mad, just mad. So it was interesting.
That was raffle for what, a game?
Is an Xbox 360 with like 3 games or something like that. So it was fun to get in college or at the end of college.
So Gambler, you prefer Odie and I to interview other guests versus us just debate on specific topics? I guess I'll ask you the same question too, Sean. But you didn't view the F Sharp with Don Sign
Yeah,
interview.
I haven't watched it yet.
Did you watch Ted Newart?
No, no, I haven't.
But you were in my support group.
Yeah, I'll be your supporter. I catch like highlights of things, but
Both
I'm
is fine, but the interviews bring in outside viewers. Yeah.
yeah I it's good to have that ability to fall back though. So if you don't have an interview person, you can just talk with each other. And that was something when I started my podcast that I didn't like is that like you had to have guests lined up, and if you didn't, you're kind of screwed. And it
Yeah,
was like, well, I need to find someone. I haven't found anyone this week. Friend from work, will you do this? Yep. Okay.
that's what I did last week. Exactly what you said. So that one's being published next.
Oh, cool. For Tech Conception.
Hmm.
Oh, is Odie not in, or did you guys interview
Otis
him?
not in it.
Oh, okay.
That is, I think I've mentioned to you before. Like, I am a big, I don't know, what's the word, proponent of consistency. Because I feel like if you if you're not consistent, that's going to program your brain to be even more inconsistent later on until you finally drop off and you no longer maintain that habit.
Hmm.
And so, like, whenever Odie, and he's doing this more and more often now, right? And I understand he has a workload, he has other responsibilities, but regardless, whenever Odie says, "Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to take a break," the WTF? What? No, like, This is every week we do this. Like, this is what we signed up for, right? But I don't really tell him that way. I just say, you know what? You take a break then. If I take a break, then this is going to have less value to me, subliminally, and probably to other people. So I'm just going to try to maintain this this consistency, and I'll just replace you with someone else this weekend. Right? I mean, I don't say it in those words to him, but
Yeah. No,
consistency is really important to me, man.
yeah, you have to be with what you're doing on YouTube. That's the content creator. You have to be consistent. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you might be able to drop one episode, but if it's any more than that, and or if you do that often, it's people just aren't gonna pay attention. So because there's no reason to like come and visit then and view your content because they don't know. Yeah, no, it's consistency is key. I think you're right dead on there. So, but so is he gonna? Is it this the one this week? Just the one then, or is are you going to be? Is he going to come back after that?
Yeah, he's supposed to be coming back after that.
Okay.
But I mean, I got two other guests queued up. I got John A. DeGoes and I got Houston. I can't remember his last name, but yeah, I have two more names queued up. One a little less known in the community, but he's wicked smart because I've talked to him before, offline.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. Cool. You still do looking for a job?
yeah, I'm more aggressive now, and I had to humble myself. So instead of like looking for a salary of like a quarter of a million a year, I'm like, fine, okay, maybe 150,000 or something. So
Yeah. Yeah. The market's
I got
not in your
kids to
favor
feed,
right now.
competing with all these Stanford and Ivy League graduates that memorized the code for Riddick sorts and merge sorts and B trees and B plus trees. I can't compete with those people in the actual interview. Hey, Toggle Bit, raid and run, need to feed child. Okay. Oh, I apologize to your viewers, Toggle Bit, because this is not interesting at all. But okay. You are you familiar with Toggle Bit, Sean?
I think he's done this once or twice, and
Yeah, so
he explained every time.
watch us get like 60 viewers.
I don't even know where you view the viewers on this. Like, I feel like there used to be a thing down here, but I have
My
to.
it's on my screen.
Yeah, it's not on mine
Yeah,
that I'm aware of.
it's on my top left hand corner where it says live. It says 24 minutes 29 seconds, and then it
Yeah,
has the eyes on it. It says two.
yeah, I don't have the eyes, so although I could
Okay.
just go watch us on Twitch and figure it out, but but yeah,
Yeah. These computer university algorithm class questions are still, I think, when you apply for jobs. What do we say? Yeah, that's another thing. So, like, So I'm more like within the last 3 weeks, I try to maintain a daily quota of applying to like 15 jobs a day. Right. Again, I'm about consistency, or at least I try to be. So my daily quota is to apply for 15 jobs a day, and that's a mix between Career Builder, Dice, LinkedIn, and then I might apply to like two or three actual company websites, which take a lot
Hmm.
longer.
You don't use Indeed?
Indeed, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Indeed, this shouldn't come off like derogatory, right? But Indeed has a lot of like offshore recruiters, if that's politically correct. And so
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of Indeed because they don't my experience is they don't really have a lot of the recruiters that I talk to don't have a lot of direct clients.
Gotcha.
They kind of look at posts on Indeed and all these job boards and then say, "Oh, let me try to figure out who the client is from someone else from the actual consulting from the preferred consulting firm that is working with that client, and let me try to introduce my my company and then let me try to spam developers and say that I could give them some developers or whatever. That's been my experience on Indeed. There's a lot of offshore recruiters.
Have you ever been on? It used to be Angel Co, but it's now called Well Found. You ever been on that site? I haven't been on there in a while,
No.
but that might be another one to try out. I haven't. I don't know if I've had much success, but it's more startup focused or yeah.
Toggle bit, are you still on here? It says I have two viewers. I'm not sure if that's somebody else. Or maybe I'll talk toggle bit out of it when I tell them that I'm not going to have anything entertaining for his viewers. No, but I am being more aggressive and I'm humbling myself in regards to like compensation expectations. I hate that question, man. Just interview me, put me in front of a tribunal, and then make an offer. That's what I would prefer. But people don't want to waste their time if I'm asking for like 50,000 more than what the budget allows.
So you don't do the you don't do like the it's I'm negotiable tactic. Just don't give them a number.
With tech recruiters,
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that with tech recruiters. I think with companies, but with tech recruiters, like I don't. In my 20 years of experience, well, working with recruiters in the last 13 years, I don't think that's the thing. I don't think tech recruiters make you an offer. I'll ask like, what's the current rate, but they're trying to come up. I'm trying to come up, and so yeah, it's always better when you're gainfully employed and you ask for the moon. All right, gambler.
Why are you looking for F sharp jobs or C sharp jobs mostly then,
No,
or
no,
architecture?
it's Azure that pays, so I'm looking for a cloud architect. Well, let me start over. At first, I was looking for like Azure architecture. Now I'm like just throwing anything at the wall and figuring out what sticks. Right. So Xamarin, DevOps, Azure, F Sharp is pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, you kind of have to get into a niche to get that.
I'll put in a C Sharp developer. But it's oh, he did the dump. I got 32 viewers now. Thanks, Togglebit. So you know what's annoying? Tell me, Sean, and you may disagree. In what year did the expectation of a software developer become this person must have the skill set of an entire IT department?
Oh, yeah, I think we've talked about this before. Um, yeah, it, which is
React is killing me.
oh,
The
React,
fact
yeah,
that the fact that I don't have React on my resume and no familiarity with it, it's literally like eliminating me from being a candidate for any interview. Like
well,
it's
that's just full stack, man. It's
my
not just
God. No,
React.
React is sprinkled on like I swear to God, like 90% of job descriptions.
Yeah, yeah, like there's an expectation of like a lot of jobs are full stack, right? There's some that are front end only, back end only, but there's a lot of them are full stack. So you're having React or Vue. I have saving grace because I got Vue experience, but or Angular, any of the three of those. Um, but the yeah, I mean, I'm more thinking like you also have to have like DevOps experience, and you need to have
I
like
checked that off like 3 months ago with
yeah,
Pulumi. I mean, but Pulumi's not showing
yeah,
up on. I'll still say DevOps, but Pulumi like it's not showing up on job descriptions.
yeah. You need to be an architect. You need to be an operations person. You need a back end and a full stack or and a front end developer all at the
Oh,
same
and you
time.
need to have machine learning. That's the other part that's killing me. I'm seeing machine learning on like 80% of job descriptions. It's
Yeah,
React and machine learning
yeah. That's where the money is.
and Python. Python I can pick up in probably 2 hours. At least the language I can. The, the
Yeah, the
the
basics you
tooling, the
can pick up quick.
IDEs will probably take maybe 2 or 3 days to understand the
Yeah,
shortcuts.
yeah. Python's pretty easy to learn the basics of. At least the imperative part. Like some of the other idioms within it are a little bit trickier, but Python's a pretty fun language to learn.
All right, hold up. I have to pause. The next 5 seconds is sponsored by Togglebit. Togglebit is a Rust programmer. I met him about a year and a half. No, it's been about probably 2, 3 years ago. And I was probably observer or viewer number 5. And yeah, I told him he had a radio voice and he should go full throttle with what he's doing. And then when I visit him periodically, he has like 100, 150 viewers of his Rust programming. And yeah, so I'm looking at his viewers right now. It says 32. Usually I only have one viewer. His name is Gamlor. He religiously subscribes to my streams, and now I have 31 other people. So hey everybody, this channel is really of no value. It's literally just me having a masterminds on a startup idea that I've been working on for the last 3 to 4 years. I took a year off, and this this is meant to hold me accountable every Friday, 7:30 in the morning, East Coast. But I usually only spend 5 minutes talking about my project, and then another 45 minutes venting about things that I don't like. That's it. So nobody won. Yeah, AI ML is flooding the market. I feel it's becoming as scammy as the Web3. Yep. And then, oh, Epic Blog, I recognize you. Back around 1995, it was possible to be proficient in a wide range of programming areas. Nowadays, people are spending full time with just one JavaScript framework. It was more fun back in the day when we were experts in everything. LOL. No, it wasn't. Like, I'm not interested in learning everything. If I could go back, Sean, I would just learn SQL.
Yeah,
I would be a DBA, and I would be set.
well, there's still time, man. Time to do it.
You think SQL is still going to be like the authority for data persistence for the next 5 years?
Well, for the next 5 years, yeah. There's still a
No,
lot of
machine
there's a
learning is not
ton of
relying
databases
on
out there.
if AI and all these tools. I don't think MySQL or SQL Server or Oracle is like the data that's being housed. What is the de facto like tool for that? It's not document databases because I would think that document databases are
Well,
they
you,
don't have they're not bound to hardcore schemas, right?
yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, and
Train train machine learning algorithms. And so you're not going to have, I don't think, these hard schema constraints that
oh,
that are enforced, right? It
sure,
has to be more
sure.
malleable.
Yeah, but you're still like there's still transactional things out there. Um, And SQL does really well for transactional things.
Flaky Bakery. Cool name. Not sure in the US, but in the EU, there's a shortage of devs and research, infrastructure, data engineering, and more. The downside is lower pay and having to be patient with bad developer practices. I can
Yeah,
relate to that.
I
I don't
think
think the United States is leading either. I always thought that China was leading in machine learning or AI. I don't know. This stuff kind of, I don't know. It just exploded. I think Web 3.0 is going to get deprecated. Oh, I know that's
I think
very controversial, but
I think Epic Blarg was kind of, that was my point, is that we're now expected to know all of the ops related type stuff and infrastructure related stuff, Docker and deployment systems and
I thought Docker got
all that stuff.
deprecated. It's just Kubernetes now, right? I haven't
No,
heard
no,
Docker.
Docker's Kubernetes runs Docker containers, right?
I haven't heard any content recently on Docker in a long time.
Well, it's
Long
kind of
time
like
being
there's a
like two
it's a
years.
fixture now. I mean, it's not exactly a complex thing. You build you create your Docker file, you create your Docker compose or whatever, you build it
But
and then
doesn't
deploy it.
I know nothing about Kubernetes. I just know that that's like the standard now. Can you do Kubernetes without Docker?
I don't know. I
Yes.
actually don't know. Is that a yes? I don't
Else,
know.
I would see way more content on my feeds about Docker, and I don't. I see
I'm pretty
nothing.
sure I don't know if there's other container technology that it uses, but I'm pretty sure that they're together. So like in Kubernetes, it monitors like the usages of your pods, and then it will auto scale things for you, um, using like it's an HPA policy or whatever. And so it's I'm pretty sure it depends on the ability to spin up things on machines, rather quickly. And Docker's the a great way to do that.
So
Um,
while I'm unemployed, should I suspend my progress with the speech mobile and spend 2 weeks learning Kubernetes?
um, it wouldn't hurt if you're talking about being a cloud architect, because
Yeah.
Kubernetes is a and I mean it's central to a lot of people's work. It's really nice too. I mean, you set it up and you define your policy and off you go. But yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I know that it's being used. Like we're
Wonder if I
using it.
could shoehorn a feature of the speech mobile into a Kubernetes
Oh yeah, dude, you
emphasis
could.
on a feature.
It'd be so easy, so much better for you to build all of your things into containers and just load it into a Kubernetes cluster. Like, just
It's less deployment issues or things you have no clue why isn't this working.
I
That's what
think
I
I
ran
think what it
into last week. I spent I think I told you. Did I tell you I spent like 8 hours trying to figure out why one of my services didn't work, and after 8 hours of debugging, it was the wrong URL.
oh no, no, you didn't tell me that. But I don't know that it would make your life that much easier. But in terms of later when you're doing scaling, it definitely does, because auto scaling is a really cool feature. But
Flaky Bakery. Not only machine learning, a lot of the research development roles are for stuff like physics, simulators, bioinformatics, data proc pipelines, databases for various projects, and so on. It's quite diverse. Anyway, my 2 cents. Murphy's laws for debugging. I don't know. I think software development is still one of the wisest decisions I've made in my life. It's just expectations are unreasonable. Hey, I need a lawyer, and I need this lawyer to be a criminal lawyer. I need this lawyer to be a real estate lawyer. I need this lawyer to practice divorce or a family court lawyer. I need this lawyer to check off everything, right? We don't see that, but I feel like as a developer that they dock you if you don't have like two of every technology within the stack. So within a layer of a stack, should I say?
Yeah, yeah, it's really not enough to be just a programmer anymore, which is it's terrible because I like that part. I
No,
like
F
that,
that.
and I like
Let me
it's not even
share something.
program. I like to do the domain modeling and stuff like that, but it's just so like I don't know. You expected to do so much more. It's painful.
I'll just show you something that I have. So this one, they were asking about. They want you to have .NET. They want you to have SQL Server, which is understandable. AWS, which is understandable. But I thought Puppet was more in the Java ecosystem. That's not a .NET like idiomatic tool. Someone can help me out with this. What? Where does Puppet live? Whose ecosystem?
I'm not even familiar with
Puppet?
Puppet. Oh, is it kind of like a is it like a Kubernetes type thing?
No, I don't think so. I thought Puppet was I thought it was like infrastructure as code
Infrastructure automation
tool.
and compliance at enterprise scale.
It's like Puppet and Chef,
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Chef.
but I thought that was like in the Java ecosystem. It's definitely not .NET centric.
I don't know that. I'm assuming it's language agnostic.
Gambler says, "Yeah, I saw interesting jobs in the research area. However, the application process looked so time consuming. I skipped it." And then Epic Bark. Oh, not to mention when we're expected to have 10 years experience in tech that has only existed for 5 years. Yeah, last week I saw, not last week, 2 weeks ago, I saw it was my very first time ever seeing Blazor on a job description, and they wanted 2 years.
Well, Blazor's been out for more than 2 years.
Okay, that's fair,
Yeah,
but who outside of the Blazor team is going to have 2 years of experience?
I
How many
think that
people?
I think there's a lot of people who are internal .NET devs at
Okay,
companies who do use it because it's why it's the same reason that you might use Node as a backend. Like why learn another language just for your back end? Well, why learn another language for your front end? There's a lot of people writing WPF apps and stuff like that that probably transition to Blazor, but they're more like internal, like probably like larger companies where they don't sell software. They work in distribution or manufacturing or whatever, and they're building apps. And it's like, well, we could build this in React, or we could like learn React, or we could try learning Blazor, which is probably closer to a WPF or whatever. So it's not closer to WPF. I mean, it's like no having to just deal with .NET in general. So I'm guessing that that's where most of your Blazor usages is internal company websites where you already have a large pool of .NET developers who've been working in WPF or Windows Forms even.
here's a question. We're both .NET developers. In hindsight, would you still go .NET coming out of college?
I didn't do .NET out of college. I did C
No, no,
programming for
I'm saying in hindsight. Oh,
oh
well, you got into dot. I mean, you're recognized as a .NET developer,
now yeah I didn't start .NET until like maybe 3-4 years into my career. Um,
which is still a long time ago, right?
yeah, I mean, so I did C programming heavily and C++ programming for my first like 4 or 5 years, and then um, so it would have been 2014. I took a job, and I had done some .NET development outside of that. Like what really got me into .NET was Xbox Live indie games um, back in the day. So I went and learned C# for that purpose. Um, but yeah, I didn't start
For
off in
for
.NET.
Unity,
No, for X and mono game XNA
XNA.
back
Oh,
in the day.
okay.
Yeah, released a game to the Xbox, which sucked, but I learned all the skills I learned from that was I was able to then apply towards jobs. Um, and then I had done some like .NET, but I did some Java and I did some like very little limited amount of Java, and then this thing called Tibco BusinessWorks, which was a lot of XPath actually. So man, I was all over the place when I first started, but it wasn't until my last job where I really solidified myself, I think, as a .NET developer. So
In hindsight, my coursework at the university was using Java or was Java focused.
mhm.
It's weird because I feel like .NET is ahead of Java in regards to like programming languages. Well, that's not true. Closure.
Yeah, well
Um,
the uh, the the schools liked Java because it was open source, but I feel like C Sharp's gotten more friendly to open source than Java is now, just because of Oracle's clause. But
See a flakery bakery or flaky bakery. Thanks for or it's nice meeting you.
but I did some Python too. My last year at the one of my first job, I guess. Um, so like I said, I was all over the place. I did Python in college too. It's a primary language back then. But yeah, no, I actually really like C development. Um,
Dork.
yeah, I feel you have to be very disciplined about what you do because the opportunity for failure is so much higher, like memory
uh,
leaks and stuff like that, and just
that stuff looks
yeah,
cryptic to me. Malik. I
yeah.
know it's
Malix is just
memory
new.
allocation, but it just
It's
looks
just new.
weird.
They could have called it new.
And is Malik a C construct or is it C plus plus construct?
Let's see.
Okay,
I
yeah.
rarely used malloc at the end though. I started using calloc, this the one, because it would initialize your memory space for you to zeros, which otherwise I would do a malloc and then a memset always.
Oh God. You
So
know, I used to be a C plus plus programmer. I have no clue.
well,
I
C
did it
plus
for
plus is
three
a lot
years.
different. Yeah,
I did it for 3 years, and I can't write any C plus plus
I
code.
can't either. I can't like C plus plus has got added so much stuff to it. I can't even understand it when I look at it. But C has been always very consistent and simple. I like it because it's simple. Like there's some stuff where it's like you don't have a lot of things to work with, so you have to build some things or find libraries, but it's
I
simple.
just could have sworn that trying to create a string value was like complicated.
A string?
Uh, I hope I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in C? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because there's no string type. You use
An
a
array of chars.
characters, yeah, and then you it would depend on the null terminator, right? So if you need a 10
That would be the
character
last
string, you'd have to allocate 11.
index.
Yeah,
Oh God. And this is what you enjoy.
yeah. Um, no, I liked it just because of the simplicity of it. There's not a lot there. You have to build a lot of things, but it's fast though too. It's, but yeah, the tooling and ecosystem for it is pretty lame. So
So for the remaining 16 people, 17 people, what's intriguing about ToggleBit that you guys follow him? Is it really about Rust, or is it because he's just a really good, just a interactive
smooth
speaker,
talker.
talker? Watch no one reply. Did you figure out what you're going to work on?
No, no, I I don't know. Vacation, I didn't think about much, and then I came back and then back to work. It's like, do I have to do? You know, what I think is I get really passionate about the job itself, and what always kills me is all of like the process and people around it that like hold it back,
Yeah,
and
everybody
like
wants to be relevant.
Jira and all that stuff, man. It's like just ugh. I'm burned out on it. I can't. I don't know if I just don't want to do it anymore. I like programming, but and coding and solving problems and releasing products, but man, I hate all of the crap that goes along with it. I just want to go back to being like I want to be a hermit or something.
You should be a lobbyist.
Yeah, sure. Um, I did read a decent book or listen to a decent book on the plane though. It's kind of an older book now, but it's called Born to Run. Um, I don't know if you've read that one before. You ever do
Oh,
barefoot running?
I run backwards for half a
Yeah, I
mile.
know you're doing that now, but were you doing barefoot running before?
No, that's when you just run on asphalt barefoot.
No, no. Well, you can use shoes, but they got to be like flat shoes, no support. So
Oh, no.
kind of the primary key premise of that book is that modern shoes are killing our feet basically, and that um, it,
Killing your feet
basically
or killing your knees?
well, it's killing like it's causing injuries.
Okay.
Um, because it's like you'd think with all of the support and the nature of shoes, like the and all the technology they put into it, microchips and stuff, that like the the rate of injury would go down, but it hasn't. Um, and yet so the kind of premise of the book is it talks about these guys that are the Tara Humara, I think is what it is. They're this tribe of of uh, of Mexicans, or as yeah, and anyways,
A tribe
Indians.
of Mexicans. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Indians. I don't know, man. They live in the Copper Canyon in Mexico or whatever, but
Okay.
they run like great distances, like 400 miles in 2 days, I think is their like record or whatever. And they came to the Leadville 100 ultra marathon in like 1993, and they just killed it. Like they beat the time in record time or whatever. And but they don't really suffer from these problems that we all suffer from, and they don't wear anything but sandals to protect the bottoms of their feet.
I
So
mean,
they follow.
I have
Yeah,
my theory. You said tribe, and tribe sounds like older, like not modern, right?
yeah.
So I don't someone that suffers from consistent injuries from running. I'm not confident that the bulk of the issues are from the shoe wear. Like I honestly don't think I think it's a factor, but I don't think it's the most significant factor that a catalyst for the injuries that we see today are from the shoe that you're wearing.
Well, it's
It's a factor, but I think for people that are runners, like this is their lifestyle, I think the biggest factor is a muscle imbalance. When you consistently run and you start developing muscles to accommodate running forward, you don't do anything else for those supporting muscles. I think that's where a lot of your injuries are coming from.
well the I think the kind of main premise of the book is that shoes basically allow you to do heel striking, because they make it not painful to do heel strike, which when you land on the back of your foot puts a ton of pressure on your body, um, this way, and so your structural system gets impacted hard, 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 hard. But
Hmm.
when we run, we're actually meant to do more of a mid forward strike. So we're meant to land because our Achilles are very elastic,
I still have a fractured heel.
and so
I
you're kind
fractured
of
it a year ago.
bouncy, um, with a forward strike. Um, but shoes don't allow us to develop that, and so it's a bit of a trick. But our arches in our feet are very, very complex, and our Achilles are very elastic, and it's really made our whole foot is made to run, but run in a forward strike fashion, not in a back strike, which is what the shoes do. So I don't know, it's worth a listen to. It's actually an entertaining book anyways, because he tells this whole story about this tribe, and like they have these wild sex parties before they do big runs.
Oh
This is
man,
crazy, where they
I want
drink
to train
port
with
beer.
them.
Yeah. But the guy who wrote the book, he's like 6'4" or something like that. So he's quite tall. And had the same he had plantar fasciitis, I think, is what, because he went to the doctor and he's like, look, I can't run anymore because my foot, when I land on it, it hurts. And every doctor is just like, yep, yeah, that's running. That's it's going to happen. You're screwed basically. But then he went through this whole thing like, how are there people out there where they can run, their entire lives and not have this problem? Um, how are there tribes that do this? And so he went out and found the Tarahumara or whatever. I think I might have mispronunciated that, but and much of it is about that forward thing and barefoot running in general, because your feet will tell you how to adjust with the feedback you get from the landing on the ground. It'll tell you how to adjust your stride and when you need to take breaks and stuff like that.
When's the last time you ran?
Yesterday, so
You should run backwards and then tell me, Scott, I respect you, man. On
how
the
are
beach.
yeah how is that how's that going anyways? The backwards running, are you like killing it now?
Yesterday was hard, so I try to maintain. If I'm not bicycling, which is I try to do twice a week, then every day that I'm not bicycling, which is again only twice a week, then my quota is to run half a mile backwards. And it's some days like, oh, I'm built for this. What? But other days, like yesterday, it took everything out of me, man. And I just try to imagine like Goggins on my shoulder, like, man up, B, right? And then that keeps me like going. But it was hard. It was grueling. It was grueling yesterday. It's a lot easier when the plows, for lack of a better term, they even the sand, so the
Yeah,
sand isn't doomy,
I gotta
right?
go make
But
sure my son gets on the bus here quick. One
all right,
second.
yeah. Gambler says
I'm still listening, by the way. I'm just gonna walk over.
once I watched something about shoe tech, and then they noted at the end that many world class long distance runners use mid front strike running and do not use the shoes head cushion stuff at all, or mid front strict running. They do not use the shoes head cushion stuff at all. Yeah, my knees are gone. It's I first injured them training for the Mexico City Marathon, and that was in like 2012, and it's been downhill ever since. It's kind of a catch 22. The more the more distance I clear, the more it takes a toll on my knees, and I don't know. That's why I just started running backwards because it's not as painful. And plus, I think it focuses on compensating muscles because my muscles are pretty developed for running forward, but all the other muscles are really, really weak. Like I can't, I struggle to even squat my own weight without like a bar. Like I'm pretty weak. Strike head cushion stuff. Sorry. So, oh, I'm not sure if Sean is coming back, Gambler.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Are you here?
I'm
Okay.
still listening. I do this at work too. I've got this like headphone that goes or whatever. I can disconnect it. So
I don't know if I told you. I started getting all these phone calls last week from young women saying that they want to be Beach Mobile ambassadors. I got like 4 calls. Then I get messages from random people saying that they need some work. So the co-founder that I terminated, he's still marketing
well,
and
that's
and
nice of him.
and trying to get the logistics, and he's trying to get influencers.
Hmm,
So
interesting. Um, I was gonna ask you something now. Shoot. Oh, did you hear back then from Y Combinator thing?
no,
Oh, you haven't heard back yet? Oh,
my my last co-founder, he quit. He sent me an email like last week saying he got busy with work and he can't continue forward. And I'm like, okay.
yeah.
The deadline for Y Combinator to respond, I think they said May 25th or something. I mean, I submitted my application like I think on the deadline,
Hmm.
but man, I still didn't expect it to take more than a month for them to reply. But then again, I think they get like 8,000 applications.
Yeah, the yeah, Y Combinator has a job board too. You should check out that. Maybe if you maybe if you can't be on there, maybe you could start for one of their companies or whatever, or a startup.
That's a thought. I didn't know. How you know this?
Because well, I went to their site after you talked about it for a while. I just remember it. Yeah, it actually looks like they're fairly consistent with getting new jobs too. Because there's like ones from a few hours ago. Because you go to some job boards where it's not their primary thing, and it's like you get jobs, but there's like two or three, and they're like from months ago or something. But they've got a fair number of jobs on there. So I don't know what they're
Watch them all say React and ChatGPT 2 years experience.
here we go, senior software engineer. Let's see what they have. Yep, TypeScript.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention when I said when I
You'd like
gave the
TypeScript,
example.
man. I think you'd like it.
Is it done? Is it well baked?
Yeah, it's well baked. It's used in production all over. It's like on its 10th version or something. It's been out for what, a decade now or better. It's real good, but it's like C sharp and JavaScript mix, but it's got other things, like it's got discriminated unions in it. Um,
Well, yeah, Don Syme was saying that the um, some of the F sharp team had went over to TypeScript, and that's why you see functional programming influence on TypeScript.
yeah,
He
yeah.
said
There's a
that when
lot
we were
there.
interviewing him.
Yeah, yeah. You'd probably in terms of if you need to get into the JavaScript ecosystem, you'd probably feel pretty comfortable with TypeScript. So um, obviously JavaScript is a bit of a mess, but I actually like JavaScript, writing JavaScript better than just TypeScript. But um,
Dork.
yeah, I don't know. There's something about typing in it that I haven't figured out. Maybe I don't know.
I've avoided JavaScript like the plague.
But I don't know, man. I just want to get out of coding
I want
entirely.
to get out of UI development. Technically, I'm out, but the job descriptions all want you to have like React.
Yeah, nobody wants to work on the front end. No,
It's
there's a lot
so
of people that do, but
complicated.
yeah, it's actually not too
Even with
bad.
XAML, it's like, oh, why I gotta write this value converter? Ugh.
Yeah, Vue is really simple. I mean, I like writing Vue code. Um, I actually fear some of the other front end things, um, but I like writing Vue. It's
Gambler says,
clean.
well, TypeScript itself is okay, but the JavaScript ecosystem is still the JavaScript
Yeah.
ecosystem. So I'm struggling with that ecosystem, not TypeScript itself. What is Gambler referring to? The frequency of deprecations and new and flashy libraries or frameworks that
Oh,
everybody flocks to.
yeah. Well, it's not just that. It's the whole Node npm like packages and all of that, and um, like shit just doesn't work right. I don't know. It's
Gambler says
painful.
UI is like 80% of the work in most apps. I
And eighty
I
percent
don't.
of that is the CSS.
Are we? Is the context web applications is
It,
80% or just across the board?
anyways, I was seriously considering leaving my job today. Just calling it good. Just being like, I'm not passionate about work anymore. Need
If
a
you got money saved, else you're going to be competing. with a lot of
Yeah.
people.
No, I got money saved. I could reasonably take a year off, but it's I just don't know. I've got the between my wife and I've got the better paying job and all the health insurance and everything's through me, so it's like I kind of am stuck. Golden handcuffs, as they call it. I think we've talked about this before. It's like I don't know. I got back to work yesterday. I'm just not feeling it at all. Do you just stay with something if you're just
Oh,
totally demotivated?
that's something that what you're saying, it reminds me of, I was binge watching John Carmack
Hmm.
articles and videos, and I didn't know he pulled the plug on Facebook 4 months ago.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, I saw
And
that on Twitter.
I think it was out of frustration where he's like one of the top ranking, probably the highest ranking individual. I guess not if he had to quit, right?
He
Uh, quit the metaverse and
he was the
like,
CTO of Oculus, but then yeah,
well, he wasn't the CTO of metaverse though.
yeah, probably not.
So I don't know. It's just humbling that if John Carmack faces issues that I face, I mean, he probably faces a lot of other things that I don't know anything about. Then it makes me feel good that it's not just me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's something about software development in large orgs that just
I'll
I don't
keep
know. I just
saying
want a
it.
small, like tight knit team
Everybody
that works
forces
on a
themselves to be
product.
relevant. You hear me?
Yeah,
Everybody forces themselves to be relevant to a project politically,
yeah,
and that's the part that's challenging to navigate.
yeah.
He John Carmack, he on several programs I heard him vent about astronaut architects that care way too much about high level details but don't understand the how things really work below the abstraction that is just as important in regards to scaling and etc.
Hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. But how can you know everything?
John Carmack knows everything. He's the Chuck Norris of software development.
No, he's not. He's very good,
Okay.
but he's not. He's not. I mean, he's obviously better than me. He's better than you at it. But he got lucky and not lucky. He landed in the right place with id Software and Doom and the success of that whole thing. A lot of his success. I wonder where he'd be if he wasn't if he had never picked up or decided to join John Romero, and because John Romero gave the lifeblood
You,
to id.
how old was John Carmack when he started getting recognized?
He
Was
well it
he
was
not a
because
teenager?
it was well he got recognized, but it wasn't their big thing was Wolfenstein. Well, Commander Keen had some success, but Wolfenstein was the first
I thought he
takeoff,
was
and
like
then
a
Doom.
teenager when he started working professionally.
Well, he started sending like programs into like publications, which a lot of people did.
Okay.
I mean, like if you were lucky enough to have a computer or access to a computer when you're a kid, like writing Apple Basic programs wasn't that
I mean,
complicated.
he. It sounds like you're more versed in his contributions than I am. My
Yeah,
understanding was that he was
listen.
writing 3D games before 3D technology even came out.
Yeah, well, the that was Doom and Wolfenstein. That was that. That was the ray tracing stuff that he did with that. Was a very was a big leap forward, but it wasn't. Someone was bound to think of it eventually. But no, look at if you want to know
I'm
more,
on my
this is
PlayStation
actually a
5.
really good read or listen. Is Masters of Doom? I want to say is the book. I feel like I've
I played
told
Quake. I love Quake. I used to play that on my Dreamcast.
dude. buy and listen to this book if you're interested in John Carmack and or just John Romero and the people who created Doom.
John Romero's the one with the beautiful hair.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they talk about that a little bit. Um, now where's the share link? I'll just give you my well, I'll give you my link for anyway. Just look up Masters of Doom. Um, I'll
Okay.
send you my short link for it. This has got a code attached to it where I'd make money off of it, so you don't have to use it. But I send it in private chat. But Masters of Doom it's a good read. It's read by Will Wheaton, um, who's the guy who did he was Wesley Crusher in Star Trek. um, but it's a good book. It basically tells a story of the two Johns, John Romero and John Carmack, as they found id Software, and then have a falling out after Quake when Quake 3 was coming out, or was it something like that? Um, but they worked for this company, and they went and took the company's computers to a lake house on the weekends and worked on this stuff. um, you know, over the weekend at this lake house. It's really interesting. It's a narrative book though, so it actually tells a story. It's not just like a and then in 1923, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
yeah, it's very good.
I'll listen to it running backwards.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm gonna call it good for this good for this week.
All right.
Maybe
We'll
maybe
catch you.
next week I'll have exciting new things to talk about. So
Don't quit your job.
yeah, I won't. I you gotta
Have something else lined up, like
yeah
a goal or another job.
yeah. I'll start my taco truck / sauna. There we go. It'll be
Just start a
taco
brothel
sauna.
truck. A brothel truck. That'd be even better. On
There
that
you go.
note, see ya.
All right. See you. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, see you everybody. Take care. I'm out. Peace. Gambling.